this is really why the video I want to talk about, adults, especially because, we have to take responsibility. Children, they follow our example, and we have to set the example. We can't just say it's all the children's fault. But why is it the children's fault? Why are children today perhaps worse than they were 20 years ago or 50 years ago? Because it's not just this particular incident. This is perhaps symptomatic, because you see there are things going on in like I can think of my own country, England. There is a lot of antisocial behaviour now among young people, which there just wasn't 20-30 years ago. And there was an incident not long ago of a teacher being killed in school by a 15-year-old pupil. There are children. There are children involved in gangs, killing other children, other people. And I know quite a few people who are teachers, and they find it nearly impossible, really, these days, because there's such a lack of respect now coming from children. And even compared to when I was at school, notwithstanding that children aren't angels, I remember very well. I'm young enough to remember how things were when I was at school myself, and so I'm not just blind or trying to pretend things were better in my day or perfect. They weren't, but this definitely has been a change. Some kind of lack of respect, which has become worse and worse, even in the last decade or 20 years, most definitely. And you have to ask yourself, where is that coming from? And ultimately, children they're a reflection of society, and what they're taught by their parents, how they're taught to behave, and so on. And I know some children or people I grew up with who didn't have, for instance, the parental support, and very often, they became dysfunctional and so on. And I definitely noticed a trend, a pattern between absent parents or uncaring parents and so on, and how it was reflected in the child's behaviour. So that's one thing really that is worrying, that today that parents, there are so many children really, they're not being brought up in the right way. It's not just a case of having two parents or living with two parents. It's that they're actually taking an interest in the child. If they have problems, are they doing enough to be understanding, trying to help the child back onto the right path? Or are they just buying? Are they just buying the child things and leaving them to their own devices? Another problem I think is parents now having to work a lot, too much. That's not necessarily their fault. It's partly society. It puts a lot of pressure on parents to be working long hours, both parents, and neglect in some ways, not being there for their child, and being able to help them along through adolescence and early adulthood, which is really a time where there's so much, so many pressures, to be in, so many pressures to be in relationships, to succeed academically and so on, establish a career, and have friends as well, and hobbies, and it's really important that that they're made to be involved and to participate. Because in the incident in America, there's someone who's frustrated by a lack of female attention, or even having really no friendships and so on. And even for a person who has social difficulties, there should still be ways of reaching out to people and stuff, the parents, if they do have mental problems, then that has to be taken very seriously. They have to get help, and it can't you can't sweep these things under the carpet. So adults, they do have a real big role to play. They are the ones who are there to set the example for the next generation and show them the right values, to help them to develop social skills, or even the most, and if they have mental problems or severe social problems, and you help them out as much as they can, but they also need to feel like there's someone who's there for them, and that life, there's more to life than just losing one's virginity before the age of 20, or having a very attractive girlfriend or boyfriend, or being or having the perfect body.